back. But right now, I need you to jump on the live chat because we're doing this thing as a team. We're going to be discussing unsolved mysteries and forbidden topics. So get your tinfoil hat on. By the way, that sandwich looks good. What is that, pastrami? Kudos. I see you have sweet pickles on that too. That's a good choice. Side of Thousand Island dressing. Very classy. Ordering it on the side, I mean. Well, anyway, it's time for the Shadowcast to get started, so put your tinfoil hats on and... Wait, is that an ice cream truck going by? You know what? Forget everything I said. The show is canceled. I'll be right back. Yeah.
I think what made the ghost mad was that I kept calling it Clancy. It's Clarence. I just got mixed up. The Broadview Hotel is a magical building that's filled with mystery. The infamous Crybaby Bridge.
This is Stoll Cemetery, also known as the Gate to Hell.
The Erosa's ghost resides. We went there not knowing what to expect because there has been many stories that we read about the ghost that troubles people who stay at the hotel.
I've been looking for somebody to document this for a long time, just to finally get the record straight that there's something up here or what's going on. You know what I mean?
This entity has played games with people.
I couldn't hear it through the wind, but at least 5 or 6 clear voices came through the spirit box in a period of 30 to 40 seconds.
By the way, I got a special device.
I'm Willow Bender. I'm here with my man Jay and with Cassie. And we're here doing a supernatural investigation.
A supernatural investigator.
There was a stairway.
Yeah. Oh, cool staircase.
The Erosa, I am Tom Willow Bender.
The stairs didn't go anywhere, except straight down to nothing.
Oh! Jesus! My dog stopped
I'm
barking.
okay, everyone.
I didn't hear nothing. I looked up and then they're walking single file line up to the church up there. Some guys with the black hoods and some weird symbols on them. Middle of the night, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Like that?
I don't know. I called the sheriff.
Anybody? I mean, like anything come of it?
They got arrested for criminal trespass.
Thank you for watching this episode. Please remember to like and subscribe. But most importantly, remember to donate big bucks. Hit that button down there and unload your wealth. Donate big bucks. Big bucks. It's time to get a second job. Or you know what? Take out a life insurance policy on yourself and then jump off a building. Do it. Anyway, make the arrangements for that and then hit that donate button like crazy. Hit it every day. What? I think I saw a ghost. There. Oh, it's just that guy again. Well, he's pretending to be a ghost. We'll get him to stop doing that. Anyway, hit that donate button, share with your friends, and most of all, get money somehow. Jump off a building. Jump off this building. Look how tall it is. probably die. You'll be badly hurt. Get workers' compensation, and then have that diverted directly to our account. All right.
What's up, everyone? Happy Saturday night. Welcome back to the Shadowcast. I'm your host, Jay. Over there's Tom. How's it going, Tom?
Hey, good. Great to have everyone here.
Thanks,
Hope
everyone.
you're all having a wild weekend.
And while it is, thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Guys, we've been on a little bit of a break from the holidays. I was out for my own reasons, too. But Tom, we're back. And everything else
When the Chiefs didn't make the Super Bowl, I almost committed suicide. I was
did
doing.
commit suicide. I'm a dead cadaver. I committed suicide. Anyways, welcome everyone tonight. We got some weird stuff to cover. Tom, how you been?
I
man?
reversed suicide. I went back in time to suicide.
Yeah,
I'm like Terminator. I went back to run over myself as a baby.
Works every time.
Just like Terminator.
So we've been working to kind of, I don't know, give Midwest Shadow some love here recently. Tom and I had our, I guess you guys probably saw our adventure over there. We did the tour of the Union Station. That was fun. Speaking of suicide, Tom got suicided by a bunch of gangsters. That was it was more violent than it probably had to be. Let's be honest. But we had a good time.
We had a great time.
Let's see what else happened. Blackjack. He was going after people with cannons and doing somersaults and didn't he have a katana or something too? I don't know. There was some
blackjack battlefield investigation. Very scary.
Yeah, Patrick Owens in the live chat suggests that Tom rides lightning. Speaking of live chat, the way this works, guys, is we try our best to pay attention to live chat, and the way this works is you post something in all caps, you got a question or whatever, and we do our best to actually to get to that. So we have a little bit of a live interaction here.
Go for it, guys.
Yeah, it's wide open.
We're delighted to have you here. Fire away. Don't feel shy. Go for it.
It is the Wild West of live chats, guys, and we're happy.
And you're all part of the show.
Yes,
make yourselves at home.
We want to thank everyone again for tuning in tonight. We realize you could be anywhere else on YouTube. It's a big place, but you're here with us tonight. I also want to say thank you to our 2 Patreons and the people that have bought T-shirts and supported us on PayPal. You guys, you help us do this, and we really appreciate it. And we realize that nothing's free. You guys got to, everyone works hard for the money, and the fact that you guys choose to support us is very humbling, and we really appreciate that. We hope to be bringing you guys some, as time progresses, we got a great 2019 planned out, and we're gonna have a lot of fun videos coming our way, and a lot of ghosts need to be busted still. So
the Chiefs should have been in the Super Bowl. It was a phony call. That game was fixed.
We could talk about sports, Tom. You want to talk about sports?
No, let's get on with the show.
Anyways, so tonight's we're gonna start off with the theme that we believe around here that the history books are stupid, and what
downright idiotic.
They're pointless. I don't know why anyone bothers with them. We've been taught our entire lives that dinosaurs disappeared like 65 million years ago or something. A big rock kind of, well, there's a couple of theories, right? But one of the biggest ones revolves around that asteroid smacking the Earth and then blowing everything up. And then it was a nuclear winter that killed off all the... Anyways, so, but the point is they claim that it happened 65 quadrillion years ago. And yet we're finding soft tissue.
What? Guys, all joking aside, we're going to be reviewing some alternative history. Something you need to begin to open the doors on. It's not easy because conventional wisdom is very ingrained for a lot of people. What we're asking on the show is to keep an open mind and to let some time pass before take in some of the info, bounce it around for a while before you come to any conclusions.
The first video that we're going to look at
ask.
absolutely, Tom. The first video that we're going to look at tonight is by none other than 60 Minutes. Now, with any luck, we're not going to catch a copyright strike. And if anyone's listening, we're totally covered by Part 1973 Fair Use Act for fair use and criticism, educational purposes, and all that. So with that legal schmack out of the way, getting back to this, so what they've done is they've actually found soft tissue in supposedly millions of year old fossils, right? But it's not just one that they found, Tom. They found a triceratops horn that had so I mean, if you look into that, there was a big kerfuffle over that because the professor that found it and published the paper actually got fired by the university. He sued the university, and then he won. So there's kind of a backstory to that, but I'm sure people have probably heard about the soft tissue sample that was found in the Tyrannosaurus Rex. That, of course, those things were supposed to have been dead for 65 million years, but anyone, if you've looked into any of this, they're going to tell you that, soft tissue just doesn't hang around even after 1 million years, best case scenario. It doesn't matter if you're in a,
How many buffets have you been to, Joel? Extra tissue hanging around.
Yeah, but I mean, the coagulant that you're going to see at the Golden Corral isn't really the same. I mean, it probably looks the same.
A lot of muffin tops.
Probably tastes the same, I would imagine. But anyways, I'm going to share the screen here. You guys can see what we're talking about, and let's let it rip. So we got the 60 Minutes thing here.
What happened next happened by mistake. Mary put some
live chat. Is everything good with our audio at this point? I appreciate you guys' patience and the snafu that happened.
How's it looking, guys?
How's everything? Live chat, is the audio good? Is actually hear the tick, tick, tick and all that? Just wanted to make sure. All right, so here we go.
fragments of the bone in acid to dissolve away the outermost layer of mineral. But the acid worked too fast and all the mineral dissolved away. Being a fossil, there should have been nothing left. But there was, and it was elastic, like living tissue.
This
is the piece,
right?
No.
Yeah, okay, so that should be rock, right? Last I checked, what kind of rock is elastic like that? That's weird. Okay.
Showed us video she took under the microscope.
That's really what happened?
Yes.
That's the dinosaur bone?
Without mineral now. That's what was left.
It looked like the soft tissue she would have expected to find if it had been modern. This was impossible. This bone was 68 million years old.
And it's not like somebody just sneezed in the petri dish, guys. Like, apparently this was some sciencey type of thing where they actually went through and tested it several times and verified this.
So
Joel, that's very scary. It reminds me on Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, where they were pulling out the earworms. That's what it looks like.
Earworms, folks.
Think what? You say
I didn't want to tell anybody.
You'd be ridiculed,
yes.
right?
And so I said to my technician, okay, do it again. I don't believe it.
And yet, in sample after sample, they were there. Things that looked suspiciously like flexible, transparent blood vessels. She finally mustered the courage to tell Jack.
She said,
so Tom, I mean, if this is true, okay, and like I said, this is like the second case at this point that I'm aware of outside of the T-Rex. I mean, so much of our understanding of the world around us is going to have to change. The history books will have to be rewritten.
Well, first of all, Joel, I think it's noteworthy that this person working in a laboratory was in fear of scientific colleagues and assumed that it would almost be safer not to divulge information being found. To her credit, she did. And to her colleague's credit, apparently he was receptive to this new and unconventional information. But it is noteworthy that she assumed that this would be dismissed as ridiculous. Now, you have to ask yourself, how many people working in lab settings would have decided to keep this revelation to themselves because of assuming that they would be dismissed out of hand?
Yeah,
right?
That's a good point. Very, very good point. Yeah. Because it turns everything upside down. And the thing is a lot of people, they hold, I don't know. It just seems like it's like you're challenging their,
You're challenging a belief system.
Yeah, belief system. There you go.
She dissolved the bone away, and there were blood vessels, and I was like shocked. I mean,
How could that be?
How could that be? That's right.
The things Mary was finding inside dinosaur bones,
Look at that.
blood vessels, and even what seemed to be intact cells, pose
Oh my.
All right. So how does something as delicate of structure such as this survive millions of years? Right? How does that happen without it just wasting away to dust, to nothing? You know what I mean? Converting to something, to fossilizing into some other compound that's right next to.
Well, Joel, I hear you about the 65 million year thing, but even if you're talking thousands of years, I'm surprised that this is intact the way they're presenting it.
Well, what's interesting is that with the Triceratops horn, they used 4 different forms of radioisotope dating, and they've dated it to 35,000 years ago. Potentially
That's incredible.
Maybe a little bit less than twice the official, or maybe about twice the age of the pyramid. Anyways, so let's continue here.
a radical challenge to the existing rules of science, that organic material can't possibly survive even 1 million years, let alone 68 million. Mary, Jack, and their team published their B-Rex findings in a series of papers in the journal.
I looked these up, and I couldn't actually. I could only read the intros for myself because they were behind a paywall. But I actually looked these up. I wanted to see the peer-reviewed or the actual write-up on it. But if anybody has a link to, I don't know. If
you know what? That would be over my head once you get into the lingo.
Yeah, but it had pictures, Tom. I wanted to see the pictures. Okay. I wanted to see the pictures.
Fair enough.
I can read good.
Science, and were promptly attacked.
Can you read microscope, though?
Might have been contaminated.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking right off the bat. Did somebody... let me back this up. I'm going to stop talking over this so much.
Might have been contaminated, or that the supposed blood vessels were actually something called biofilm, a type of slime. But as Mary showed us, she's been able to replicate her findings. These are pieces of an even older dinosaur, a well-preserved 80-million-year-old duckbill. When she dissolved it away in acid...
Let's put this under the scope here.
Well, look.
Is that a blood vessel?
This is a blood vessel.
You're
You
kidding.
see the branches right there? And look at all of them. And it's so consistent over and over and over again. We do this bone and it comes out and I get excited every time. I can't help it. I mean, 80 million years old.
She gets
Mary
excited
published
over
her
old
new
bones.
results last year, and while some of her critics have been swayed, the controversy still rages, and the stakes are high. If blood vessels can survive 80 million years, what about DNA?
I think that's 2 completely different things, actually. But it brings me to my next unsolved mystery for tonight that goes along with that. Tom, are you aware of the carvings in Cambodia?
I am. Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that. What do you tell the audience what we're about to see here? And
It's another point of controversy in that there are very interesting carved pictures in Southeast Asia that seem to show things resembling prehistoric dinosaurs that are not contemporaneous with human beings. And yet, these primitive people, who of course carved these before quote unquote dinosaurs had been discovered by modern man, seem to depict dinosaurs. Very strange.
While there's no point arguing that dinosaurs once roamed the earth, claims of dinosaur-like bones or drawings for that matter are clearly to be disputed. Such as the claim of a Stegosaurus carving in the Taprom Temple.
All right. So here we see the carving right here. This is what we're referring to. You have that that cow-like Stegosaurus kind of body, and then you got the plates running up and down the back. I wish I had plates running up and down my back and tail. I wish I had a tail. But, you know, what is that? What other kind of a critter would that resemble? I mean, I'm thinking, is that a chameleon?
A Pokemon.
Is it a Pokemon? Like, it's not Bigfoot?
It is a Pokemon. Like Detective Pikachu.
They weren't. This is like far before modern archaeology, right? So
yeah.
How? What? And this isn't a hoax. This is legit. This is on a temple wall, as you're gonna see. Live chat. Is this crazy or what? Are you guys seeing what we're seeing?
Or in Cambodia. First, let's take a look at the dinosaur in question. The Stegosaurus is perhaps
there we go.
one of the most widely recognized dinosaurs due to its armored plates that run along its back in 2 columns. An interesting fact to note is that out of all the dinosaurs, Stegosaurus had one of the smallest brains.
Small brain, big body. It's got the plates, spiky stuff, and it is carved onto a temple.
It's known that it only weighed approximately 3 ounces, which is extraordinarily.
What my point is, Tom, is that there's nothing else out there in nature that's going to look like this. Like there's nothing. There's no modern day. I mean, how close are you going to get to a dinosaur, an alligator? I mean, there's nothing out there alive today, or even a couple of thousand years ago, that's going to look anything remotely close to something like this.
I'm also interested in the serpentine illustration that's wrapping around the Stegosaurus.
Mm-hmm. I want to know what that's all about.
Which looks like a giant boa constrictor, but we're talking about something that could wrap around a stego. I'm just throwing that in there too.
You think that could be like a depiction of a dinosaur being eaten by a larger dinosaur or a snake or something like that? Possibly.
I'm thinking about a giant, hundreds feet long snake.
I think about giant.
Huge python.
5 tons. As such, it's believed this dinosaur was very simple and slow moving. The Stegosaurus's long narrow skull is not unique to the stegosaurid dinosaurs. However, what is unique to the stegosaurid dinosaurs is the double column armored plates that run along the dinosaur's back.
Okay.
The plates along the Stegosaurus's back are referred to by paleontologists as dermal plates, and were comprised of 17 individual flat armor plates. The plates themselves are composed of modified bony cord scales, much like the scales found on modern-day reptiles such as...
Again, what could possibly... I mean, there's no woolly mammoths that look like this, right? Like, they're not mistaking it.
No, of course not.
It's not, yeah.
No, that's silly.
Strangely, where the modern-day skeletal remains of Stegosaurus show the armored plates as being attached to the backbone of the dinosaur, this was never the case. The plates rose from the skin of the Stegosaurus's back rather from the skeleton, and varied in size depending on their location on the body. The larger plates on the Stegosaurus occurred along the hip area, and were approximately 2 feet wide. The smaller of the plates occurred on the back of the Stegosaurus's neck. The Taprom Temple in Cambodia was built during the 12th century, and the alleged Stegosaurus carving was mentioned in guidebooks published in 2006. Creationists are quick to assume that it is indeed a Stegosaurus, and a replica is even present at the Creation Evidence Museum in Glen Rose, Texas. Some have suggested the possibility...
That's one really annoying thing that I saw when I was researching all this stuff, is that a lot of these videos, like people want to just... They take this and they boil it down to, oh, this proves creation. Oh, this proves evolution. It's like, cut it out. Let's just freaking look at what this is for the second without having to be like, aha, I gotcha. You know what I mean?
Oh no, those are foreordained conclusions of people with agendas. I don't even register when I read things like that in comment sections. By the way, you're free to comment anything you like, but when someone is working from a clear agenda and they have that pre-bias, it doesn't do anything for me. Just saying.
Possibility that the Stegosaurus may have been carved or altered by a modern hoaxer. In support of this, some critics point out the lighter appearance of the image in question compared to the surrounding carvings.
I don't buy that.
Due to visitors
That
clinging
would be an
into
awfully
making a
random
mold.
thing to hoax.
Some also
Yeah.
the edges of the lobes on the stegosaur look a little more angular or sharp than others, and perhaps have been altered. But more study would be needed to completely
I doubt that.
mischievous
I
alteration.
doubt that.
That's not really the first thing that comes to my
Given that
mind,
it's not
you know,
enough
and
to
I
just
like to
assume
really
that the
think
carving
about,
of a creature
gee,
with
what
a
could it
plate on its
be?
back
You know,
in an
because
ancient
you have
temple isn't
to,
a dinosaur. What
you have to
exactly
just
is the
consider all the
animal in
angles.
first place?
Is the creature above it in the pictorial is that an aardvark? Or is that a known animal that's above it?
A rhinoceros with a leafy backdrop. Even with this assumption, it's still not 100% clear that the image in the temple is truly a boar or a rhinoceros.
That does kind of look like the Pokemon Squirtle, doesn't it?
Let me know in the comments.
Yeah, Tom, you know, as much as it pains me to agree with you on that one, I think we're looking
Just
at a
saying.
Pokemon. Live chat, what do you think? Anyways. So this is just kind of like, you know, Tom and I, we've talked about this kind of stuff at length, that it just seems like there's a lot more going on than the history books would, I don't know.
Well,
seems like
Joel, the current explanation, the current scientific explanation is that those are leaves behind a, I forgot what they said. It was a lizard, and that those are tree leaves showing that it's an animal and it's outside. Again, that's not the conclusion I would immediately jump to, but they don't want to recognize it is something that is out of the ordinary. So that's what they're going with.
Well, guys, besides creepy dinosaur stuff and aliens, we really like skinwalkers around here. Skinwalkers are one of my favorite things. I don't know about you. We're really not supposed to talk about them because allegedly talking about them happens to attract them. Not really sure how that works. But there's a skinwalker scream caught on tape here.
Ooh.
Oh gosh, what state was this? I think it was Arkansas. Anyways, but it's got over 2 million views on YouTube. We're gonna play this here. It's a very short video, and yes, this is definitely one of those make up your own mind about it, obviously, because you know you don't have all the answers here. But pay attention to the guy's reaction. Actual evidence, by the way, for skinwalkers doesn't really. It's very elusive. There's almost I don't think there is any actual evidence. Tom, have you ever come across anything? Now that I think about it, I don't think I've seen anyone who's actually.
What did you have in mind?
Well, you know, somebody who's posted like something like some sort of video evidence or something that would
I don't think that video is coming down the pipeline because skinwalkers operate in darkness.
Exactly.
Move at incredible speeds. And I just really doubt something like that could even be caught on a camera. But
well, let's check
we'll
this
see.
out. We'll leave this one up to the live chat tonight. You guys get
All
to
right.
decide. We report, you
I'm up
decide.
at the ridge line right now, but where the fence is at. So behind this fence over here, there's a wood line. About 9:48 in the night. So we just heard a scream a little bit ago. I don't know if you could see past this, but so behind this where I'm pointing right now, there's a forest back there, and that's a pretty big forest. It's a state park. So there's nothing that's back there, and it's protected. So I don't know. But we're back here, and there's this fence right here that protects my friend's yard, where we're at now. And from that, I don't know what you'd call this, but there's a pasture right here with a bunch of trees. You can't really see them. I don't know if you can see that tree or not. You see that tree right there, that fern right there? That's a fern, and then there's a bunch of other ferns all around. And it gets more dense as you go back. But what happens is this creature comes up against this fence, and it jumps this fence. And it was standing, we think, right in this where I'm standing right now. And my friend's inside right now. I'm getting this footage. And did you just fucking hear that? That was fucking it. Oh. Fuck this, I'm out. Fuck this.
Huh.
My goodness.
Live chat, were you guys able to hear that? Should I crank up the volume a little bit more?
I did.
Crank up the volume. You
can replay it if you like.
Yeah, we're gonna
play the blasted. I don't need to hear that guy talking.
Dance as you go back. But what happens is this creature comes up against this fence, and it jumps this fence. And it was standing, we think, right in this where I'm standing right now. And my friend's inside right now. I'm getting this footage. And did you just fucking hear that? That was fucking it. Oh. Fuck this, I'm out. Fuck this.
You don't. We'll never really know what exactly that was, but
very frightening.
His reaction, I don't know. I could kind of go either way on that. It's.
I could too. Joel, one of my favorite shows is Fact or Faked that comes on Sci-Fi Network. And it is a team of investigators and their qualifications. One is a former FBI agent. The others are in graphic design, studio entertainment, and they work together as a team, being mysteries like these. They footage on camera, audio tapes on camera. Can they recreate it? And what is the level of difficulty of recreating something like that? Sometimes they say that it's a bridge too far. And other times they say we could put something like this together. And they're operating under the premise that, look, if we can do it, then the most likely thing is that someone else could do it. And that's what I'm going to ask you, Joel. Could you and me put together a video like that in an afternoon?
Absolutely.
There's your answer. Because, and by the way, I love Skinwalkers. Huge fan. But here's the thing. That was very scary audio. But could we make a video where we took the sound of something like a boar or a pig grunting, which was almost what that sounded like at the end, slow it down 60%, and it sounds like some kind of monster, when actually it's a pig grunting that's been modified.
Oh, sure. You have off-the-shelf technology readily available. I mean, the first thing I'm thinking about is like back when I used to do varmint hunting. You have a electronic recorder on a remote control, a big giant speaker out there that, makes wounded animal noises and calls in predators. And that's the first thing I'm thinking is it could be somebody's boombox out there they hit the play button on. And because it's like they got 2 million views on, they hit all the right buttons. It's like, you hashtag that out on the YouTube, and it's like, it's one of those things where it's not clear cut, but man, it certainly picked up and it got some traction, and it made that guy, his YouTube channel just skyrocket, and he's got 2,060,000 views.
Yeah, but a video with somebody's pants falling down is going to get 2 million views. If that's what you're into, congratulations. You can make a Vine that gets 2 million views of somebody throwing a pie at someone else's face. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But here's what I'm saying. I've gotten the skepticism, which I keep at a certain level. I put that up front. Now that we have that out of the way, if there was a monster in that woods, well, it may sound very much like something that you would hear in that video. And so
What I am interested in going forward is further compelling evidence. Look, if this is the forest where this skinwalker is hanging out, well, then let's continue the investigation. Let's get some people in there.
Well, I did watch a follow-up video, and the guy says that he doesn't have access to that house anymore because his friend moved away, his lease was up, and other people are in there.
Look, are you hunting monsters or not? Jump over the friggin' fence. Everyone else does it. Look, if you're going to make a video saying you have a skinwalker, then you need to strap on a pair, jump that fence, put on a night vision, go out there with a flashlight, and do a follow-up. All right? Good.
That's what we would do, Tom. If there was
Now,
a
second of all,
okay, hang on a second. If we put ourselves in that guy's shoes out there, Tom, and we hear that blood curdling scream and all that, right?
I'll tell you what I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say F it, I'm out.
Exactly. We'd probably start making fun of it and start walking towards it. That's what I'd do.
You know what? Pardon me. Here's what I'm interested in. He can't be the only person that is hearing these wild screams and monster sounds. So there has got to be more video or audio evidence coming forward. And what I am interested in is corroborating evidence from multiple witnesses, which is something that very much does capture my interest, a la something like the Phoenix Lights, where there are hundreds of corroborating witnesses and dozens of photos and video recordings. I'm very interested in that. And if this monster, whatever it may be, in those woods is that loud, that aggressive, and that crazy, well, then there's got to be some more forthcoming evidence. So we'll wait and see, right? Correct?
Yeah. That's what's kind of frustrating is it's like I know we both put ourselves in that guy's shoes and we think about what we do. However, I would also.
He went out there to make the video. That wasn't an accidental video. He walked out there to the edge of the woods for the purpose of enticing the people that were going to be. He didn't make a home video for himself.
What if he was?
He made a video to entice the viewer, and this is why I have a harbored bit of skepticism. Is because he walked out to the edge of those woods for the express purpose of letting people know that there is something in those woods. It could be something very scary. Oh, exactly 1 minute into the video, as soon as he sets it up, well, wham, bam, there you go. There's the monster screams. Okay, there's the 10-second mark. All right, I'm done. The video's done. It's the perfect watchable length. And gosh darn it, it started right on cue. You didn't have to wait around for 10 or 12 or 15 minutes or an hour or 10 hours or 2 days. You didn't have to wait for that. It happened 1 minute after he did the set. Even less than a minute because he took that minute to explain to you what was going on. And the moment he was finished, the screams began. But not so long that you would get bored or say, oh, this video is going on too long. It just lasted a few seconds, just enough to give you the flavor. And then he switches it up. Perfect link for 2 million views. Am I in the ballpark?
I think it was on Paranormal Daily. There was a follow-up video where he was like, "Oh, I was just overcome with primal fear." He's like, he's like, it was so scary being out there.
Did that sound like a man overcome with primal fear? Is that what you took away from that, Joel?
No,
that man was just in fear of his life.
No, I mean, if I'm in like primal fear,
give me a break.
I'd be making a noise instead of I don't know. I don't know. I'd be making more of like I felt primal fear. I know what that's like, and I know how I react. I'm not just like bleep this. But then again, man, I don't know. I mean,
that sounded more like laziness than fear.
Yeah,
it's just a mess. I'm sorry. The more we're talking this out, the more I am not there. And I'm Mr. Nice Guy. Tom is Mr. Nice Guy. Tom is Mr. Everyone, Everything Guy. But you know what? The more we are bouncing around on this, I'm not buying it, man.
I'm gonna file that one.
I'm not. I love skinwalkers. Look, I love skinwalkers. I love the idea of a forest with an ominous fence where boards and logs of lumber have been propped up to keep the fence from this charging animal that jumps over it. You know what? Then set up a security cam right where that fence is and show us night footage of look, you're going to be a billionaire when you are the first person ever to get footage of a night creature jumping over this fence. You're going to get $1 billion. Oh, 2 million. You're going to get 200 million when you get a skinwalker you just didn't do that though. Okay. No, Joel,
I'm with you, man. I'm not buying it. I mean, after really chewing on it and stuff, it's just, it's way too easy to duplicate something like that. There's just, there's a lot there.
The 1 minute thing.
There's not enough.
The way that everything elapsed from beginning to end in 1:15. As someone who has spent time investigating the unknown, I'll tell you that I can't find my car keys in 1 minute. It just doesn't work that way. So, no. I don't, and just the way that the guy was listening to blood-curdling screams and then just said, okay, I'm what? That's why you went out there. No.
And for the record, we're not going to stoop to that kind of a low. We'll stoop to other lows with Midwest Shadow. We're not going to do stuff like that where it's just like blatant.
That's Joel. Here's the thing: if something like that really went down, would you have turned the camera off? Even if you were gonna run away, would you click the camera off?
No,
Why?
because here's the thing, man. I have this thing. Right? Okay. Everyone wants to be like internet famous and all that stuff, right? But me, I just want to fight a freaking kangaroo. Like that guy that defended his dog from the kangaroo and like got into the fist fight with the kangaroo.
You want to be a guy that fist fights a kangaroo.
Yeah, exactly. For some reason, I want to punch a kangaroo really bad, but I want to punch a skinwalker even worse, right? I mean, one of them walks up to me and is like, "Ah!" Right? I'm putting 5 across the eyes, and I'm getting it on film with my other camera, and I'm like, smile from Midwest Shadows. That's how I'm reacting to it. I'm not going to just fill my diapers and run the other direction. However,
Joel,
it depends on just how scary that thing is, because maybe punching a kangaroo seems like a good idea until you actually have to do it, and then you're face to face.
All right. Well, I hear you on that, Joel, and here's my counterpoint. Was this animal screaming at him or just screaming in general?
Who knows?
Why would you turn the camera off no matter what's happening? Why would you say, okay, that's the end of the video, click? Now, if you wanted to retreat and back away and even go to the house, why on earth would you stop filming when people have spent years of their life trying to uncover this mystery? And you went out there to do that, but 1 minute after filming, you turn the camera off.
Why would you have?
And second of all, even if you made the mental error in that moment, which I can't even imagine, of turning the camera off, why wouldn't you turn it right back on and stay right there until the battery drained? And then go to Walmart and then get a new battery and a new camera and stay there night and day.
I just want to be on my block to have a confirmed kill of a skinwalker, man. I think that'd be pretty awesome. I could probably have someone write a book about that, and I could slap my name on it like I wrote it. Anyways,
well,
Tom, I've got
I hope you have a supernatural weapon.
Yes, Tom, I've got a secure team video for you. You guys want to watch this? Let's calm down with a nice. I do. Team. I'm feeling pretty good about this one here. All right, here we go. UFO stuff, guys. This isn't an episode of the Shadowcast if there ain't no aliens in there, and it's also not an episode if there's not secure team. So here we go.
Secure team rocks.
Yes.
Hey, what is up, guys? Tyler here with Secure Team. Now, before we get to this main topic about the strange objects, more strange objects being captured via satellites out in space, things that we don't quite understand.
You know, Tom, you ought to narrate for Secure Team. I'm just saying, like, he ought to pay you to narrate for him. Like, he could throw the video together.
I would be honored to collaborate with Secure Team. Tyler rocks.
I briefly on this polar vortex that is currently hitting us. Now, I know most of you have probably seen this on every news channel.
We know
it's been the main topic of discussion everywhere today. So I'm not going to harp on it. You guys know, give it some shelter, take it to a local shelter, and just get it out of there. And
guys, love your kitty cats. If you're cold, it's cold.
Because unlike many of us, a lot of these animals out here are not so lucky, and they need someone to take care of them.
Yeah.
So with that, let's get to the main story that I want to talk about today, which is
what we came here for.
To what they're calling, their words, a mysterious object that astronomers have detected orbiting Earth at a distance of around 300 miles above our planet, and what some have described as a, quote, empty trash bag floating around the Earth. And they've described it as that is because apparently, or according to what they've stated publicly, the object is extremely lightweight. And as with other objects like it, they have very unpredictable orbits, hence the term empty trash bags, because these things are light and apparently they change orbit and they're very hard to track. So they're calling this thing A10BMLZ. And at this point, they're totally unclear where this object came from, but they do say that it could be gone within a few months. Now, you're seeing the footage taken by the Northolt Branch observatories. And at first, when you have it zoomed all the way out like this, it's really hard to see. But we're zooming in here and circling the object. And we see the stars in the background. And we see the object moving along at a steady pace. And at some points, what some viewers have said, it almost looks as if the object slightly moves or changes its trajectory, almost as if it's under some sort of artificial control. And objects like this, what are classified as Earth satellites, was first spotted by the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, or ATLAS telescope in Hawaii. And then we have the Northolt observatories.
It does kind of deviate there, doesn't it?
Was, quote,
it does, Joel.
Not on a strict ballistic arc.
And there's a lot of static around it, but it almost looks like a pinwheel that's spinning.
By the way, they don't know what it is yet. They have no idea what it is.
It looks like something that's tumbling.
More than a piece of light material, such as metallic foil, left behind from a rocket launch.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not too convinced this is aliens yet.
This thing has been spotted out there, upwards of 600 kilometers or 300 miles, which is much further than any typical piece of space junk that came off of a rocket or something like that would usually be found. And really, from what I can gather, the only reason that they're even putting forth the theory that it could be a piece of foil from a rocket they had launched was simply because of the size of the object, and that it was, quote, light.
Joel, what it reminds me is the photo of the Black Knight satellite.
There is nothing.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as well.
Of the artificial
which
object.
they say is a thermal blanket that was accidentally lost by an astronaut.
The object has further puzzled astronomers after they noticed that it was traveling in a retrograde orbit instead of a prograde orbit. The orbit is highly elliptical, with a perigee of just 600 kilometers.
Yeah, retrograde orbits aren't natural, though.
But an
no, that means it's going further away instead of descending towards Earth.
Which is put into a little bit more context for you guys from this.
What a strange orbit.
The object is coming in, swinging back out, and almost reaching the moon. It's like this thing is slingshotting right around Earth, coming as close as just 600 miles above the surface of our planet, and then almost slingshotting itself back out as if to meet up with the moon with this very elliptical orbit. And it is very unpredictable orbit.
Is it possible that it's an object caught between the two gravity poles?
Analyst from Project Pluto stating, quote, "At present, we have no idea."
This is why we need a Midwest Shadow spaceship.
Object. And that is mostly because its trajectory is
there's so much static in that image, though. I can't really take anything away from it.
I almost
so
feel bad
from what I
subjecting our
can
live
gather
chat to
here,
this, but
your
I thought this
object
was
is
interesting
changing
enough to
its
mention.
trajectory.
This
The
is
orbit.
A
The
very
Yeah, 'cause it's-
orbit, though.
the observatories, stating that,
the
because
thing
the
is, okay,
object is so lightweight that it is easily pushed around by the pressure from the sun's radiation, making it impossible to let it
There
move.
we go. If it is something made of foil,
Funny
but is that
the
enough really to
This
push
sounds
into that
very
extreme of an
familiar
orbit, though?
to the recent discovery
you know, I'm not a
of
physicist.
cigar-shaped
I
object
can't
that was
say.
again discovered to be blasting through our solar system from interstellar space. Remember, they named the object Oumuamua. And whatever the object was, we had never seen anything shaped like it before. It wasn't from our neighborhood. It was coming into our solar system from out in interstellar space, and made its way around
Well,
our
you know,
sun.
the
and
Apollo
also
astronauts had to
changed
dispose of
its
their
speed
waste
and
in
velocity
plastic bags that
for
they would
exiting.
blast out the
Now,
airlock.
that object was so strange, so mysterious,
I'm just saying.
that a couple of Harvard researchers even put out a paper stating that the object could be an artificial alien object. And more to the point, which is where we start to see similarities with this so-called empty trash bag object discovered Friday, was that they stated that because Oumuamua was so thin that it could have very well been an alien.
Joel, have
that
you?
was
Here's the thing, Tom.
constructed-
You know, there. Okay, everyone wants to, and this is one of the things I get it. Like, you know, secure team. He's got a job to do, and he wants to relay these strange, crazy stories to his public and his audience, and that's what everyone wants. But here's the thing, you know, there were so many. Okay, the shuttle program, for example, it was a military program, and it flew on so many missions that were not open to the public. They were top secret in nature. It totally ran by the military. You don't know what there is so much secrecy around anything related to the space program of not just the United States, but any other country who's ever been out there, right? It could easily be, you know, like to me, it's like this is just like a solar sail or something, a piece of space junk from an undisclosed mission or something that somebody left out there. And the fact that it's flying out to the moon and then coming back and everything like that is telling me that it's probably, you know, I don't see anything here to say that it's alien. Number one,
It could even be, Joel, it could even be the ice from the launch of a rocket. When it's going through the upper atmosphere, the ice that forms on the outside of the rocket. You're talking about a huge sheet of ice that's taken up into space.
I'm not so sure about that.
No.
But
Okay.
I mean, it could be, you know, it could be space junk, like Patrick Owen said. It could be petrified astronaut poo. You know, it could be anything like that. It could be like a discarded solar sail or something from an experimental spacecraft.
You know,
it's just amazing to me that they can actually catch that on a telescope. And
it would have to have some size to it to be observable, for one thing.
That's one thing about it. They say it's the size of a big trash bag, but what do they mean by that? Nobody actually ever gave us a size on this, I noticed. So
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just so basically what I see here is I see a piece of space junk in a strange orbit, and there we go. That's what we got. So
they didn't explain why it couldn't be just a space rock.
Well, I guess they did something to map out its density. Like they know that it's very lightweight, you know, like plastic type material from the way it's behaving or whatever. But anyways,
are they sure though?
No,
I mean that's again like couldn't it be some sort of a piece of a comet?
I could also see it like, you know, as one side heats up, I could see it flipping around and tossing itself around like in solar winds and stuff. I could see that explaining the deviation in its movement and stuff. I could see that definitely. but is it changing directions like we've seen other videos do, like where it's clearly some sort of an intelligently controlled craft making a 90-degree turn and then another 90-degree turn and then it's zipping up and down and then it's flying past and flipping off the ISS crew? I mean, we've seen stuff like that, but that's not this.
Question for the live chat. Have all of you been updated on the latest analytical information about Oumuamua, the interstellar object that came and left the solar system?
Tyler just touched on that. He said there was a couple of Harvard scientists that published a paper calling it extraterrestrial, like flat out.
I've been briefed on the latest information. This is hard to believe, but currently they think Oumuamua was the girth of a sheet of paper. I'm going to say that again.
What?
Oumuamua is very long, and it's as wide as a sheet of paper. Highly reflective. And
so
originally reported to be
maybe?
10 times longer than it is wide. And now it's they believe it's several orders beyond that. That it's something like 100 times, somewhere between 50 and 100 times longer than it is wide. And it's even been said to be as thin as a pancake or a piece of paper, which immediately raises the question of interstellar travel by the only means that we currently have a practical application for, which is solar sails or laser-driven aluminum sails. Just something to put out there. Also, there is no explanation known or forthcoming of how Oumuamua increased speed as it exited the solar system.
That's the big tip off right there that had everyone excited, is that it's literally changed. It's not on a ballistic trajectory. It's not on a ballistic arc. In other words, it's not an object in motion that's going to keep in motion until something else acts upon it. It's literally changing course.
And Joel, at first it was postulated that this was a comet and that its increased speed was due to the evaporation of water from the sun working as a propellant. However, there was no comet tail that was discernible, and furthermore, its increased speed was faster than comets move, was faster than the increase of speed from a comet being pushed away by the sun. The speed is yet to be explained. And furthermore, what makes this truly remarkable and mind-boggling is that Oumuamua was buoyant at the time it interceded with our solar system. If you don't understand what that means, let me explain it for you. Our Milky Way galaxy is not static. It's spinning. Our galaxy is spinning. I forget the exact speed. It's something like 120 kilometers per second. However, don't quote me on that. I may be off. The galaxy is moving. The object that intersected with our galaxy was not moving with the rest of the galaxy. It was at a constant, which I'm not an expert on how that works, but it is very, very unusual that a random piece of space rock.
It was basically a giveaway that it's not from our galaxy, that it came from outside the. Yeah, so that's what that means.
What it's comparable to
is something like a buoy in the water, or something like, or even like an anchor in the water, that the water is moving, but this space rock, for yet an unknown reason, was not moving at, it was moving at a speed, but it was moving at the galactic constant, which is almost like the way that water is splashing, and there is something that is almost like it's tethered. This was moving, but it was not moving at the same speed. It had an unusual trajectory, momentum, and other many unusual things. Anyway, I just wanted to ask the live chat audience if they wanted to throw out any info, anything that they are thinking about Oumuamua, because originally they were saying once we collect the data on this and we're going to put it through the computers and this mystery is going to be solved, it just is blowing that out of the water. And right now you have astronomers and people who study celestial objects that are like, we got nothing.
It's interesting that they can't explain it, but you do have Harvard professors that are like, yep, it's aliens.
And the other thing is that if this is a trans-Neptunian object from the from beyond the inner solar system, which it's not, because it does not come from the solar plane. If you've ever seen a model of the solar system, all the planets except for one that has a very, has a strange orbit because it appears to be hit by something probably in the late bombardment. Like Uranus and Neptune, they have kind of strange orbits because they just got pounded by objects billions of years ago, and that threw them into they're like on their side and they have these weird moons around them, is because they had very devastating collisions. But there is a solar plane where, and there's basically like a Milky Way plane that the solar plane is basically, it's like the level, and this object came from above the solar plane. It wasn't even like moving with the rest of everything else.
From outside of the solar system, they've established.
That's why there are people that are saying this is interstellar object. This may be an intergalactic object. That sounds insane, but this could be an object from another galaxy, because in all of astronomy, we have never seen an object these dimensions, something in the order of dozens of times longer than it is wide, and something so shiny. That's the other thing. An object like this, to be randomly seen by a telescope, they can't actually see it. What they saw was the reflection from the sun, because at first they were saying it was very ruddy. They were like, well, it's very red and everything, but it was picked up on telescopes because of the reflectivity about it. And there's something about it that is, they can't even agree on what it is composed of. I think it is worth the space community's efforts to put in effect very quickly a retrieval vehicle. I think this is going, they're like, well, we'll wait for the next one to come along and we'll be ready then. I'm saying, I don't know if there is a next one. They can reach Oumuamua by the year 2029 if they launch a vehicle this year. They can catch up to it. And I'm not talking about something to blow it up or something. I'm talking about a probe like they have done with other asteroids and comets. They've even landed on asteroids. This is incredible. Or they say they have. That's another show.
But I think that instead of some of the stupid things I see them doing with, to me, the amount of money that is wasted on things like bombs and I'm just like, for goodness sakes, could we all stop what we're doing and try to figure out what this thing is? Because if it is a probe from another civilization, do you really want that getting back to whatever civilization it came from without us at least knowing about it? Do you really want that to happen? They've already got probes that they land on asteroids. They're preparing for Mars missions. Modify one of those, get that out on space, and something about a decade from now, it can catch up with Oumuamua, and we can get the answers. To me, this may be the mystery of the century, and I can't believe that there's people that are trying to put it to bed instead of recognizing that this is an expanding mystery. And the thing is, if we lose Oumuamua, look, we know exactly where it's going. Send a space vehicle after it. To me, it is imperative to find the answers. Anyway, I'm going to throw this over to the live chat. Guys, put it in caps if you want us to discuss it.
Yeah. Well, that's actually all the videos I have for tonight, Tom. I wanted to thank everyone for being with us. Live chat, I hope you guys had a good time. We really appreciate you guys tuning in. Tom and I, we appreciate it.
Guys, we had a wonderful time.
Yeah, we love taking you guys on our little adventures and stuff, and our tours, our ghost adventures and all that. More to come. More to come. If you want to help us out, though, like this video, share this video, hit the subscribe button. We have all the normal Patreon, PayPal stuff down below. If you want a coffee cup, we got awesome coffee cups. We're totally selling out now at this point. We have t-shirts, coffee cups, iPhone covers, pillow.
Guys, if you have ideas for a future show or any topics you would like to have covered, email us.
Absolutely.
Let us know and we will do it.
And if you want to be a guest on the Shadowcast, drop us an email. We are midwestshadows@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, even though I don't really do anything on Twitter. I technically got it, but we are on Facebook and Twitter at Midwest Shadows. Gosh, I feel like that's about it tonight, Tom. We got dinosaurs covered.
It's a wrap.
We got the skinwalkers covered. We got some alien ufology in there. We even punched a couple kangaroos. Otherwise, I'm happy about how this went, except for the beginning. That was on me.
Well,
on me.
Oumuamua keeps me up at night. I wish other people felt the same sense of urgency I do, because I have a strong feeling that this is not just a really weird rock that floated by. Even here on the normal Earth, you don't see a rock as thin as a pancake that's 50 feet long, and it's just
I would say it's
by.
probably a solar sail. I mean, from the looks of it, from the way it's shaped, and the
they're coming up with right now. They're just throwing out the really bizarre ways to explain this. They're saying that a planet exploded. They're saying that a planet was hit by something like a comet in another solar system, and the planet fragmented and exploded. And what you're seeing is like a plate of another planet's crust.
I don't believe that for
a second. Through there.
Because, you know, it would have. Okay, you're talking about little giblets of a planet. It would have gotten slurped into something else's orbit eventually. It wouldn't be on an interstellar trip.
Why would it leave a star's orbit?
Exactly.
How difficult do you think it is for something to leave the gravity well of a star? And why would it end up in our solar system?
There are too many questions out there, and that's why we are here, because we're going to answer them all for you guys. So we think about it so you don't have to. Guys, thanks for being along tonight. Tom, what did we learn tonight?
Thank you. Guys, I have a very strange feeling that this is a probe from sentient extraterrestrials.
I don't know that definitively. That's just a very real possibility. I am not the only one saying it. There are people with doctorates who are saying the same thing right now, that we have to consider this possibility, that this was a low energy. People are saying, well, we didn't hear any radio signals from Oumuamua. Guess what? Voyager 2, that is still broadcasting from the edge of the Kuiper Belt, it has the strength of a 60-watt light bulb right now. That's what it's broadcasting with. All right. When you're traveling through enormous amounts of space, you're almost dormant. Look, this fits the bill in every category. Exactly what an interstellar probe would look like.
You know, we ought to cover.
Do you really want this thing getting away?
For the next episode, Tom, we should cover that archaeological evidence for aliens, the data discs that were uncovered, and the laser etched cave work. We should definitely cover that. Tune in next time. The Shadowcast is official now. We've decided to actually roll with this, and we're going to be building this thing out every other Saturday night, 9 o'clock Central. That's when we're going to be on live. Guys, again, email us if you want to be on the show. We've actually just, like I said, we've decided on an actual format. And we're going to be doing this as a regular thing instead of just like let's go hang out and talk about ghosts. So we're looking forward to having ghosts on. I've got a couple of alien abductees, an actual multiple abductee that's going to be on the show. He's lined up to come on. And then, like I said, next episode we'll be actually looking up some of the weirdest stuff that will make you scratch your head and say, okay, that's freaking aliens. Because it's really good evidence, and I don't know how there's any other way of explaining it. We will see you guys Saturday after next, which I believe is the 16th.
Groundhog Day Part 2.
Yeah, Groundhog Day Part 2.
The Revenge.
Again, guys, like and subscribe. You can get over to our Facebook group. And if you want a t-shirt or hoodie or whatever, we got that too. Just check below. And thanks for being along, guys. We really appreciate it. And it's been fun.
Thank you all. It's been wonderful.
Live chat. We love you guys. We will catch you guys next time. Until then,
have a wonderful weekend.
Have a wonderful weekend, guys. And we will catch you later.
It's been terrific. We'll see you then.